Just over a year ago, I left a very abusive relationship with my ex-girlfriend. It was very traumatic. It was very difficult to understand that I had been in an abusive relationship. And the more videos I watched on YouTube and TED Talks, I realized really the extent of it. And actually, only as time really went on did I fully understand how abusive it was. I started making these videos 6 or 7 months ago to try and help others and also help myself to understand fully what I'd gone through, what I'd been through and where I was. I haven't made video for quite some time, but I thought it would be nice to make an update and talk a little bit about where I've come in the last 4 or 5 months since I last made my last video. So I think the first question is really, how do you know that you're over it? How do you know that you're recovered? How do you know that you've moved on and you're ready for something else? And I think for me, it really became clear when I realized that what I was talking to with my friends or certainly people that I hadn't seen for a while, that first of all, I was no longer afraid to talk about the abuse. But secondly, and probably more importantly, I found that I wasn't really talking about it anymore. I felt like I didn't really have any need to talk about it anymore. Before it was really all I was talking about. And it really is very liberating when you find other things to talk about. And I think when so many months have gone by now and I really don't talk about it at all or very often. And I think that's a really great sign that I've moved on and things are looking up. And I feel much stronger in myself about it. And not needing to share and to talk and to explain and to work it out anymore. So I think that's a key thing. The second thing I want to talk about is happiness. And really, since I broke up with my ex, I really have become so much happier as a person than I've ever been in my whole life. I've been more grateful for things. I've been discovering new things, always opening my eyes to new hobbies. I've taken up beach volleyball. I do a lot of running now. Before I was doing cycling. I'm now trying a vegan diet. So when you're in an abusive relationship, you're under so much control and you can't do anything and your whole focus is on them. That now that I'm out of it, there's a whole world of possibilities, and I've even started my own business, which is fantastic as well. All these things that I never could have dreamt of doing while I was in that relationship, or even before when I felt so much limitations, and now I feel so free. And I really truly believe now that the only limitation is the power of the mind. Number 3, or the third thing I want to talk about, is dating. So for the first 6, 7, 8 months, I didn't go on any dates. I really wanted to focus on myself. And in the last, I think, 4 or 5 months, I've done quite a bit of dating, sometimes more, sometimes less. What I noticed as I started to date was there were a lot of triggers, there were a lot of things that the girls were saying, disagreeing with me, arguing with me, asking me why I did that, why I said that, and it really took me back to my relationship, which was very difficult for me, and I cut it off. I didn't want to see them again. And I did wonder whether everything would trigger, and I was very aware of it and aware of my situation. But I have to say, in the last 4 months, I haven't really felt any triggers at all. I don't really know if it's because there haven't been triggers or if they have and I've just been I haven't reacted and I haven't even noticed them. But it's always very good to be aware of what triggers you and to try and overcome those or seek help if that happens regularly. And like I say, for me, I found it very very good that I haven't had those triggers in the last 4 months or so. And it was only at the start where I really felt that. The fourth thing is giving back and helping others. It really helped, and particularly making these videos, the feedback that I've got from people of how it's helped them, it's really made me feel very happy that I can help other people. I can help people to see the other side of things and to understand there is a way out. And as much as you feel that your independence and your control and you know, how could you possibly survive without this individual? There really is a way, and you just have to be strong, and you have to believe it, and you have to take the chance, because it will set you free, as my ex many times used to say to me. I think the last thing really is always being aware. I think this is something that I've really harnessed over the last year and a bit, which was always being aware of how I'm feeling, where I am, and being okay with days where I'm not feeling so good, don't want to go out, don't want to see people, and being aware when I'm very happy and excited. I have to say that, you know, when you go to extreme highs, the falls are also extreme. So it's always good to keep a very balanced emotional state as much as possible. But being aware when you need that time out is so crucial, and also being forgiving to yourself when you take that time, and not thinking about it, not judging it, not trying to understand if it's right, if it's wrong. I really think that the power of the subconscious in just going with the flow. If you feel like this, you do this. If you feel like doing that, you do that. And you don't really try and think about it too much. Don't interpret it too much. You just do, you're aware of it. And you're aware, okay, if it becomes a pattern, then maybe I should look into it. But short term, yeah, it's just being aware and just going with it. And it's okay. Everything is okay. So these are the 5 or 6 things. I'd like to say, I think, maybe 2 other things that really changed my life dramatically this year. The first was writing a mission statement about how I want to live my life, how when I'm 80 years old and I'm lying on my deathbed, how do I want to tell the people around me how I lived my life? What did my life involve? And I wrote it down, and then I put it away, and I never looked at it for 3 or 4 months, and remarkably, the decisions over the next 4 months, it was completely in line with my mission statement. Every decision subconsciously was made in line with my mission statement. So I really encourage people to really think about what they want from their life. The other thing that happened to me this year was that I had a very difficult time in one area of my life. I'm not going to say what, but I did come across someone who was very abusive to me in a area of power, and I found it very confusing. I didn't really understand what was going on, and it was also very upsetting, the fact that I'd come out of one abusive relationship and find myself in a different type of abusive relationship. And it took me a while, not that long, well, it took me a while to work out that it was abusive. It was then a process of how to get out of it. And there's a saying that if you are basically, if something happens twice, it's basically a test to see if you learnt the first time. And I really felt the second time that it happened, that I dealt with it in absolutely the perfect way I could have. I couldn't have done anything different. And I was so proud of myself for doing it that way. And I came out so much stronger as well. And actually, it allowed me the opportunity to really look in my abuser's face and tell them that they were abusive. And it gave me such resolution over my other relationship with my ex, that it was so therapeutic and so helpful. And a friend of mine, I said, it's amazing how I, had these two things within a year. And a friend of mine said, well, Nick, it's probably because, because you've been through the first one, you really understood when it happened the second time. You understood so clearly and quickly, and you didn't put up with it. And that's why you got yourself out of it so fast. And learn from what's going on, what's happened. Take the time to process everything that happened. And if it does happen again, in the way that it happens in me again, in a different way, in a different setting, to be strong enough to recognize it and to get out of it very, very quickly, and also without harming yourself at all. And actually for me, it was really hugely therapeutic actually, the second time it happened. And it was almost a benefit, like a really positive experience. So that was the last 6 or 7 months. And I'm really super excited for the year ahead. This year that's gone by has definitely been the hardest of my life, but I found it so positive as well, and I've really grown, and I'm happier, and I'm really, I feel like I can really take on and understand so much more in life. So I hope that update was helpful for you, and I wish everyone well.